What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we're here to discuss another update to one of my favorite budget decks within V-Series. This is going to be an update for Genesis Witches. So like I said, I've done this profile a couple times before, but there is just continuously more support that can be slotted into this deck, which I think is really great. And this is such a great starting point for anybody who's like trying to get into V, trying to get into Vanguard, trying to get your friends into it. This is, you know, a kitchen table Vanguard deck kind of price, but you know, definitely like something that you can bring to locals or a little bit higher than that maybe even. This is just a very fun, decently competitive deck overall. And like I said, I just have so much fun with the deck. I keep on coming back and upgrading it and kind of updating it. So just wanted to bring it to the channel. And without further ado, let's hop right into the deck profile. I'll go over the deck itself and just a test stand to kind of demonstrate at the end. And before we begin, I just wanted to quickly mention that if you are interested in purchasing any of the cards that you see here today, we do have a TCG Player affiliate link down in the description below. You can shop through that link to help support the channel. Absolutely no cost to you. Thank you in advance for that. And if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like on the video. Possibly consider subscribing to the channel. Helps us out a lot. Lets us know that you what kind of content you guys like, and I'll keep on bringing that to the channel. And then if you do have a Twitter, we do have a Twitter now too, so you can follow us there. Help see. You can go see our local tournament reports every single week. What's going on with new content, things of that nature. All of that is posted over there, and you can interact with me a little bit more personally as well. So cool. With that, all that out of the way, let's hop right into the video. Alright, hopping right into the deck profile now, we're going to start off with 4 of the main boss unit herself. This is going to be White Rainbow Witch Pyrithra. So still the same boss unit, still does if you watch my previous videos, obviously what it's done the whole time. But just for anybody new, this is the, just going to go over the skill. Act on Vanguard Circle once per turn. Its ability is cost is reduced by 1 Soul Blast for each rearguard with Sorcerer or Witch in its card name that you call this turn, and its cost is Soul Blast 13, and then until the end of turn, all of your units with Sorcerer and Witch in their card names get an additional 10k, and this guy gets an extra crit, so crit pressure's there. Just huge numbers across the board, which is really, really nice. And then the second skill too is Act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, counterblast 1, return one of your rearguards with Sorcerer or Witch in its card name to your hand. So this is good because there's a lot of like on-place effects that you want to kind of just spam over and over, maybe to soul charge, maybe to call things out. Depends on what the resources you have at the moment really are looking like. So very versatile card in that regard in terms of its second skill. But on the first thing, like I said, power spread across the board. You're hitting really nice numbers overall, and there is crit pressure here. I'm going to go Force 2 in this deck. I'm going to put it on a rearguard circle. I'm still going to get an extra crit on my Vanguard. So at least 2 of your columns do have, you know, crit pressure. And we are running a card too that kind of, you could potentially have crit across the entire front row here, and I'll explain how that happens in just a moment. So this does have a lot of pressure. I think the one downside of this deck is that it is a 3 attack deck. There is no multi-attack really in it, so in that regard it's easy to kind of introduce a new player to it. You know, there's no like crazy attack patterns. There's interactions here or there, which I'll point out, but overall pretty simple skill. It's not hard to get that off. I know the 13 looks really daunting, but again, if you've seen my previous profiles, it's really not hard at all to get that off. So we are running 4 of her. She is the main boss unit. You have to ride her every single game. If you don't ride her, it's a pretty bad situation. All right, over here next up we have 4 of these cards. This guy over here was reprinted. This is Spiritualist Sorcerer Recruit, so it did get reprinted in the shiny triple rare version. Just haven't put him in the deck yet. But auto on Van or rearguard circle. When placed, we soul charge 1 for each of our units. So in this, it includes this unit. So be careful with this. You typically need to see at least 1 recruit per game to kind of get your soul nice and buffed out. But if you start spamming like 2 or 3 of them and you have like a full field, like you're going to deck out instantly. So be very careful with this card, but it is very necessary. I would say you have to see at least 1 per game to kind of operate very smoothly. 2 is probably ideal, but I wouldn't really go past that. It's depends on how many units you have obviously on the field, but it could be quite a bit. Excuse me. Over here too, we are going to be moving into the grade 2. So this is actually an oldie but goldie right here. White Phosphorus Sorcerer Revolta. Revolta has been around, Revoluta I think. This guy has been around for a bit. Auto on rearguard circle. When placed, counterblast 1, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck, put 1 of them into your hand and then the rest into your soul. So for a counterblast, being able to search the top 3 is not bad. And again, we're not really running the grade 1 searcher because it doesn't have a witch name or a sorcerer name, so that's pretty unfortunate. So we need to dig a little bit deeper. I did want to cut this card. I tried playing without it. I tried playing it at a lower number. I just felt that I needed it overall, and it does, you know, does exactly what we need. It searches and it also puts things into soul. Doesn't gain extra power, but our Vanguard kind of has us covered there, and there's a way that we can still kind of get power across the board and still not feel like terrible. So I do like this guy. I think the searching capability is just too hard to pass up on. I'm still running this guy at a 4 of. over, I think that guy got reprinted too in triple rare, I could be mistaken. But another card over here that is recent out of the newer sets. I think this is a new addition to the deck since last I posted. This is Venus Witch Repler. So Repler's a pretty cool card just for Genesis in general, and it does have that witch name, so again, it does still help us out over here. Auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you may put a card from your drop zone into your soul, which is pretty big, you know, just again, soul charging is always good. Auto on rearguard circle, once per turn when this unit attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, +1, choose one of your units, and until the end of battle, this unit gains the power and critical that unit had gotten from trigger effects this turn. So you could put, another unit on rearguard circle with the force 2, give it an extra crit or whatever. When this guy swings, you gain the extra crit that you might have drove checked or whatever, the power from that other unit. So you could essentially get the multi crit across the board, which is pretty cool. And you really load up on one of your units, because if you put it on that other unit and then you take its critical over here, like you're swinging for 3 crits, so making it pretty tough for them to not guard. And then you're just basically taking the power, the crit, everything, like putting it on here. Other thing too, you can do in the same column, it doesn't really matter too much, but in the same column, you can give the power to your rear guard. If that column already swung the other one, give it to the rear guard, boosting this guy, take the rear guard's power over here, so you kind of like double up within the column, which is pretty cool. And its first skill too does go with another card, which we'll go over in just a moment, and it synergizes pretty well, and I'll call that out when that happens. Actually, let's go into that one first over here. So this is going to be 2 of Witch of Ravens Chamomile. So Chamomile is another newer card, I want to say. Came out in one of the recent sets, one of the clan collections, I believe. Special set 1, I think it was, clan selection, I think. Anyway, its skill auto on soul in the beginning of your battle phase. If you soul blasted a total of 3 or more cards this turn, you may call this card to rearguard circle. Now, the timing with this is a little unfortunate because we don't see the act ability from our Vanguard, but sometimes like you'll just be short on units, you have a bunch of triggers in hand or whatever, and like this guy just popping out is actually really decent. And its second skill kind of has us covered there, and the not seeing the Vanguard power up because it's auto on rearguard when this unit attacks. This guy gets an extra 10k until the end of battle, and at the end of the battle retire this card. So if it sees the Vanguard 10k, great. If it doesn't, it's still buffing itself up by the 10k, so you're still hitting those like 40k plus kind of columns, which is really, really nice overall. So I like this card. It's a little bit versatile. It can pair up with this guy too if it's in the drop. Put it, put this boom into your soul, call it out. It's just an interesting interaction that you can have, and I think for a deck that's so cheap to have that kind of like recyclability is actually really, really cool, and it's just a cool interaction. So next up over here is actually a promo card, and not a ton of people run this, but I actually think this is a really good card. Colored Brush Sorcerer Kazande. So this card is act on rearguard circle, Soul Blast 2, and this guy gets an additional 10k until the end of turn. So that is not a hard once per turn. So there's going to be certain games where like your soul is so stacked, like boom, you just popped off. Your cost for your Vanguard's reduced to like 6 or something, and you have like an extra 7 cards in the soul. If you're ready to, you think you can close out the game here, and like your opponent doesn't have a PG or whatever the case may be, put this on one of those Force 2 circles, just pop this guy off like 3 times, boom, gets an extra 30k on top of the 10k from the Vanguard, 50k by itself, boosted by another at least like an 18k kind of rear guard. It just makes a really, really sick kind of column overall, and 2 crit, that's pretty difficult to kind of guard overall. So I actually like this card. It gives you like a really powerful option overall, and again, this is more of like a closeout card. Like it's tough to kind of spam him and then go into like the next turn and like really hope to hit the Vanguard skill, so just be wary of that. But I think that it is really a decent option and something that we do kind of need in the deck, just to kind of push our envelope a little bit further with the power. Moving into the grade 1s now, that's it for the grade 2s. I am still running 4 of Spring Source Witch, how do you say this, Pisces or something like that? My eyes are kind of bad, but auto on Van or rearguard circle. If your unit, if your and your opponent's Vanguard have the same grade, you may pay Soul Blast 1 for this cost when placed. So it's cost Counter Blast 1. Look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with Sorcerer or Witch in the card name, put it into your hand, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is interesting for 2 reasons. First off, like I said, we're not running the top 5 searcher, so this is the best we're kind of going to get. It kind of sucks if you are going, what was it, first? Just because you can't really use her for that skill, but going second, this is good. On rearguard, it still works as well. And you can just Soul Blast for it, which is not like a huge deal in this deck, especially if you have Kroots in hand. You're probably fine overall. The second part of this that is really interesting, the bottom of your deck kind of thing, there's going to be certain points in the game where like your deck is so thin where like the top 3 might actually be part of your drive check, so you can rig part of your drive checks with this. So I know I've kind of called that out in previous videos, but at the same time I just wanted to kind of mention it here too. It is still like a very relevant kind of thing overall. So consistency play with her at a 4 of. Next up over here too, something that we need to just kind of, I feel like, really spam, and this is our main target to kind of recall off of our Vanguard's second skill. This is going to be Supportive Sorcerer Communis. This guy over here, auto on Vanguard circle in place, put a card from your hand into your soul and draw a card. So not too bad. Again, soul charging essentially from our hand. You can put in that grade 2 that pops out during the battle phase, and then just drawing a card, so a bit of a filter, not too bad. And then auto on rearguard circle when placed, soul charge 1. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, soul charge another. And then if your one of your Vanguards get 5k until the end of turn. So pop this down, 5k then, use your Vanguard second skill, counterblast 1, pop this back to hand, pop them down again, another soul charge, another 2. Counts as 2 calls for a sorcerer, so it goes towards the reduction of our Vanguard's first cost, and then on top of that, our Vanguard just gets an extra 10k. So 10k from its own skill, 10k from this, so your very first turn, if you pop this twice, you're swinging for 33k, boosted potentially by him over here, which is another 18k. So you're looking at like that 51k column, like around there. I forgot the exact math off the top of my head, but 51k, you know, I mean, they're still on grade 2. 2 crit, you know, heal guardians are around. It's not, you know, crazy, but at the same time, if they don't have one, like that's a tough column to block, and you can really set up a lot of your rear guards to kind of go in and put a lot of pressure on early. So I like this card. I'm going to put it at a 3 of, just because we have so many good cards now in the grade 1 slot. Like it's really tough to find some room. This is a card that I was debating for a while too. I kind of bumped it down and then I bumped it back up, so I'm just running this at 3. I think that 3 is kind of the sweet spot. This is Witch of Oranges Valencia. Auto, when this card is put into your drop during your main phase, you can bind this card, choose 2 cards from your drop, put one of them into your soul, and put 1 card from among them onto the bottom of your deck. And this is good because we are going to get into situations where deck out is potentially a thing. So if you soul blaster out, you could save yourself a little bit more, maybe, you know, give you that opportunity to drive check or whatever. That second skill, auto, at the end of battle, this unit boosted, put 2 rear guards in the same column as this unit into your soul, and then draw a card. So you're fueling yourself for next turn, which is really good. It has that witch name, so it counts towards the reduction of your Vanguard cost, and it also is going to get that 10k. And just card draw in this game is just, you know, obviously really good. So putting 2 cards into your soul could also vacate your field. You know, if you're facing like Narukami or anything that needs to like retire cards, this can help vacate your field and really like stop them from kind of doing that. So I like the card. I think that at 3 of, it is the correct ratio. Next up over here, now this is, I know this is more of a budget deck, but this is a card where I think like if you're gonna invest in the clan, like it's worth the $15 or whatever it's gonna cost you for this over here. This is just such a good card and can really be transferred over to a lot of different builds. So in my opinion, it's worth it. I know it's a little bit more expensive. You can cut this and look at some of my other videos too for other things if you want to swap them out. No big deal. But this is going to be 3 of Apple Witch Cider. So Cider is such a great card. I've been talking about it in my market watches and everything like that. This is just such a versatile card. Auto on rearguard circle, at the end of battle, this unit boosted. You may soul charge 1 and return this unit to your hand, or soul charge 2. So you have choices there, and I like to kind of leave this on board depending on my opponent. Just soul charging 2 is really good in this deck. And then auto, when this unit is put on guardian circle, put a card from your hand into your soul. This guy gets an additional 5k until the end of battle for every 3 cards in your soul. So a deck that like really honestly, like I said, like spams a bunch of soul charge. Like there's points where you have like a leftover 6, 7, like 8 kind of cards in your soul. You know, getting an extra 5k per and 15k guard is just sometimes really big over here. So I do like this card. I think at 3 of, it is nice. And again, I didn't want to put it at 4 of just because this is kind of like a budget deck, and this isn't really like searching or doing any crazy kind of stuff. It's just, it does help us a moderate amount. So I like to kind of have this at 3 of. I think that is actually the ideal ratio. I wouldn't personally put it to 4, but you can if you wanted to. Otherwise, you can cut it and kind of up anything else that you see over here. Lastly, over here, something that I was noticing, I think in the current meta a little bit, just because Gurgit is back, and a lot of like Excel decks do spam successfully now, and I think they're actually a little bit better in the meta than some people give them credit for. So I'm putting this back in the deck. Witch of Frogs Melissa, auto on rearguard circle, when this placed from hand, resoul blast 3, and your opponent looks at the same number of cards from the top of his or her deck, and then as the same number of units as their rear guards, and calls them to rearguard circle with the units. So basically, soul blast 3, your opponent has 5 units out, 5 rear guards, basically looking at 5 cards on the top of their deck and then popping them down. This is really big too for decks that kind of like potentially could deck out, because you know they could have like five rear guards, boom, pop this down. They only have 5 cards left in deck, late game, boom, pop this down, and they're gonna deck out. So it is almost like an alternative win con in a way, but it's really dependent on them. I just think this is really great to get rid of annoying opponent rear guards, and the cards that they make don't activate over here too. Their abilities don't activate from that. So that pretty much wraps it up for the main deck over here, aside from, let's get into the starter. This is the best starter, by the way, too. I like Phantom New Style a lot, don't get me wrong, but Incipient Longtail is just one of the top tier starters in the game, which is really cute. Again, you can use anyone, doesn't really matter, there's no real point. But let's move on into the triggers, and I'll show you guys the deck in action right after. All right, so a lot of people are going to question this over here, but I just feel like we do need to dig and see pieces, and more cards in hand is always good. We do want to kind of survive at least 2 grade 3 turns, so I think 4 extra draws in here actually help us a lot. And this does have the witch name in it too, so if you need to call this down, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's only a 5k shield, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. It becomes a 15k booster with the Vanguard skill. This is White Emperor Witch Prismo or something like that. I don't know. But over here, I am running the crits, the draw sentinels. I know these are getting expensive. At the time, they were pretty cheap, but if you guys don't want to run these, no big deal. Just go get the crit sentinels instead of the draw sentinels. I do personally like the draw sentinels a little bit more, but again, depending on your playstyle, if you notice you're decking out a lot, it's totally viable to put the crits back in. Like that is completely fine. Over here too, I know this is a budget deck, but that's not the only reason I am running the regular heal triggers over here. Witch of Big Pot's Laurier. It has the witch name in it, and I feel like, you know, by your first grade 3 turn, if you kind of get rushed down, like, granted, if you can survive, like, this deck does have a lot of counterblast going on. There's multiple abilities you can spam for multiple counterblasts. Like, there are a lot of counterblasts in general, so I think it's not the worst if you take a lot of damage early, and this bigger shield value is a little bit better later on. You're on a forced number, so a little bit more advantageous. You know, a 12k Vanguard swinging at you becomes like no pass with the 20k shield, so, you know, it is what it is. You can put in the grade 3 heal guardians if you have them, if you want to, but overall I don't find that this is too bad. And plus it has that witch name. You don't really want to call her down because it's 20k shield, but it is what it is. And then lastly, we have 4 crits over here. I know only 4, it sounds a little bad. You can maybe do 2 and 2 over here, but I just like the witch name or the sorcerer name over here, whichever one it was, forgot off the top of my head. But overall, not a crazy trigger lineup. And again, making sure that you're playing with the deck out kind of thing in mind can really help as well. So thank you guys so much for watching so far. Let's get into a test hand and I'll show you guys the deck in action. All right, let's shuffle up over here and get started with this deck profile. Again, if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to leave that like on the video, possibly subscribe to the channel. Definitely appreciate it. We're over 1,000 subs now, so thank you guys so much. But this is a deck that I have been updating for a long time. Like, I think I have, like, this is my 3rd profile for it, so something that I just kind of like to keep on the channel. And like I said, this is a great gateway deck to get into V, or just, like, you know, kind of show your friends, or if you're like want to get into Genesis but you're not trying to pay, like, you know, maybe some of the Premier Clan or Premier Archetype kind of prices. This is like a really good way to kind of experience it and see if it's for you. So let's draw our hand over here. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, and 5. Ooh, kind of brutal. I am going to put back 3 over here. Actually, the searching is actually pretty decent. I'm actually going to put back 2 over here. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay. Oops. There we are. Alright, shuffle. There we go. Alright, now we're going to get the other 2. Oh, whoops, I forgot to draw the other 2. Whatever, let's just say 1 and 2. Alright, so they weren't any of the same cards. So that's fine. We actually do get the Communist first. I can't believe I shuffled first before I did that, but oh well. Alright, cool. So that is shuffled. We're going to stand and draw for our turn. Now, we're going to pretend we go first. A couple different options here, but this guy is probably the best. We're going to draw off of that. And we are going to put a card from our hand into our soul. Let's put this guy into our soul over here. Is that actually the wise thing to do? Yeah, that's fine, because he has that ability, so that is fine. And we're going to put that and then draw a card. All right, nice. So we do get some other options here. So we're going to pass it over to our opponent just because time we go first, we're going to take a damage. Boom. Okay. Uh-oh. What do I have over here? Let me get rid of that. There we go. 1 damage. We are going to stand and draw for our turn now. We are going to then ride. I'm going to ride one of these copies. And I'm also going to ride... let's go with her, actually, I think. Counterblast, or not the same thing. Yeah, Counterblast 1. Look at the top 4. We need to search for our Vanguard here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we do find it. That was actually a really nice, lucky pull right there. It was right on top. Nice. So we add that to hand. So not the craziest early game right here, but it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay. We are going to just swing in for 8k, do a poke, and then we're going to do 10k here. Going to drive check at my opponent, power and draw. There we go. All right, cool. So we have some decent triggers in my hand, have some good options for like later into the game. I think I want to hold on to this until my second grade 3 turn. So let's proceed over. Let's take 1 damage. Let's see, did we hit a trigger? No. So I am actually going to take my second damage here. Boom, power. That kind of shuts them off, let's say. No biggie. Oops. Let's stand and draw for our turn. And let me see my damage. Yeah, there we go. We can see the damage. We're going to stand and draw for our turn over here. Nice. So we do draw into the Vanguard manually anyway. So let's go and get a force marker. I'm going to put that on a rearguard circle. Let me think about this. I think I'm going to put it here. I don't think it really matters. Going going to put down, what am I going to put down here? Let's go with, no, you know what? Let's put this here. Yeah, let's do this one here. Move her back. Let's put him on there. Let's put Repler here. Do I want to use this thing? So there's 1, 2. It's going to be reduced by, yeah, I'm going to use Repler. There we are. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2 into soul, 1 into hand. I'm going to put 1 into hand. Perfect. And then 2 into soul. Kind of sucks that you get triggers out, but it is what it is. I'm going to call down this bad boy. I'm going to soul charge 1, soul charge 2, and then 5k to my Van. How many am I at? So I'm at 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 in there. So right now I need to get to 10. I could do a little bit more. So 1, 2, 3. Let's do 4. So now it's reduced by 4, so I need to get up to 9. And kind of unfortunate, I'm not gonna have a counterblast for this, but I'm gonna counterblast. I'm gonna put Communist back up to my hand, and then I'm gonna put him back down. I'm gonna soul charge 1, 2, another 5k to my Vanguard. So right now, when I use the ability, it is going to be at, what was it? The 33k plus the 18, which is 51, I think. Over here, that guy's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5, so 13 minus 5. I'm just going to be at that 8. All right, yeah, I have 8 in my soul. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I want to keep this in soul just in case I need something later. I don't think it really matters anything else. Yeah, so we are getting rid of 8 over here. And now everything has an additional 10k. My Vanguard has that additional crit as well. Unfortunately, not going to be able to pull off the copying thing right there because we did have to use that second counterblast to meet our goal, which is why Crute is like really great. If you have Crute, you pop him down, like it just feels really good. It's so easy and free to like kind of fill your soul and like hit that requirement a lot easier. And as you can see, I don't have one, so if we did have a Crute, I think I could have popped him off pretty easily. But we are going to swing first with this 33 plus the 18 right there. So that is 33, 10, 30. Yeah, so that is 51, 1, and 2. Oh my god, speak of the devil, we just got 2 of them. So no trigger effect, so it wouldn't even have mattered for him, really. So let's go over here next. Let's swing. I'll say they're at like 3 damage. I want to poke with them with 4 first. Just get them to 4, just so this just can threaten for lethal. So this is going to be 10, 20. Plus 18 is 38k column. Not the craziest thing, but it's okay. And then at the end of battle, I'm going to put these 2 into my soul. I'm going to draw a card. There we are. So a healthy hand size overall. Not too bad, not too great either. And then we are lastly going to swing. This is 20k plus 18. That is going to be another 38k column. So we are going to pass it over to our opponent now. And let's open up. You know, this. Let's say they swing with their Van. We're just going to risk it. We're going to take it. Let's do boom. Okay. Second one. Boom. Okay. So we have to block everything else. Dropping all my shield here. Just assuming we make it through. 1, 2. I'm going to do this over here, put a card from my hand into my soul. I'm going to put a Crute into my soul, extra shields. It is what it is. Okay, so let's say we survive that turn then. I'm left with an okay hand from here. So let's stand up over here and draw. We are going to ride our second Perithria over here. So let's go, oops, there we are. Let's get another guy right there. Let's pop down the, let me think about this for a second, because I'm just going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 in here. So I'm just going to have 4 reduced. So I'm going to have enough, actually. I'm going to do calling him down. Yeah, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, all go into soul. There we are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11. And I'm going to call her down. I have to think for a second here, because do I want to pop this Witcher Frogs, Melissa? If they went wide, it is what it is. But if not, I have to think, because I am 1, 2. Actually, no. I'm going to hold on to that for a second. I'm going to counterblast this right here. I'm going to bring this guy back to my hand. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to soul charge 2. 1, 2. That's fine. And then 5k to my Van. We are then going to be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 13, It's 10, 3. Yeah, I think I'm just at the... Okay, perfect. I'm just perfectly at where I need to be for Witch of Frogs and Melissa. So I'm going to call that down. So that was 3 Witches or Sorcerers called this turn. I'm going to pop this out and just disrupt their fields, get those units out of... off the board, so they have to replace all their units, whatever, that's fine. Then I'm also going to Soul Blast 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to Soul Blast my entire soul. So this is kind of like my last turn in a way, just because I don't know that I'm going to be able to kind of refill it the same way. Next turn over here, so everybody gets that extra 10k, extra crit. Everybody's swinging for an extra crit, which is really cool. So this is going to be another 51k column right here. Oh, actually, no, this is going to be a little less. This is going to be... what is it, 33 plus 18, 33 is not correct, right? 28 plus 10 is 38 plus 8 is 46. Yeah, 46. Okay, so boom, first check, second check, let's go power here and draw. Okay, of course we're drawing all of our heals. We are going to then swing over here. Let's go 10, 20, this is still 38, and then boom, we're gonna go 23, 33 plus 17 over here. So what is that, 50? Yeah, it's 50, so 52 crit. So really not too terrible overall. Like you said, like you see, like this is just the flow of the game. You have to kind of like pace and like make sure that your like Soul Blast abilities are kind of correct. We kind of threaded the needle here with the Witch of Frogs Melissa, and you don't have to use this either. Like it's just there as an option. Just want to demonstrate you can do it. Crit is necessary, as you can see. It just really helps us kind of fill the field, fill your soul as much as you need. And again, we weren't really close to decking out either. Like we definitely, I don't know that we couldn't have done another priority turn, but at the same time, like you could at least get a couple of abilities off and maybe get some things going on. So thank you guys again so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. And this is Alex from Team Generations signing out.